Hello, now last week, being the experienced professional that I am, I completely forgot to do the crinoid coin toss. So I'm going to do it now, determining whether my hair is going to be up or down for the show this week. That is tails, so my hair will be in a ponytail. On with the show.
It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome, and as I'm sure I've mentioned before, I can sometimes overthink things, I can overanalyse things, I can worry about little things too much, and what's vexed me this week for a good 2 days was, well, Pogo Dave jumping off the thing again. I've still got to find a way to keep him in shot. At least I noticed it this time and I can correct it. Stay, good boy. So what's bothered me this week is the outfit roulette debacle at the end of last week, where I decided halfway through outfit roulette to change the rules of it so that I could wear something different. Vest and dressing gown came out for the second week running, and I thought we can't have that, we need to change that. But actually, in the original idea with outfit roulette, as long as the three items were not the same, then we could have that combination. So, having thought about it for a couple of days, I decided to stick with the original outcome of outfit roulette last week, not the one that I changed, hence I'm wearing the dressing gown again. But I have stuck with changing the dressing gown on there, and what I've replaced it with is my onesie that I think I've worn in previous series, because I thought I'd thrown it out and I found it under my bed. So I thought it might well have some use, so the onesie is back on there. With that sorted out, let's get on with this week's show by showing you our slogan of the week, and I've gone back to the hand-drawn ones, because this week our slogan is Happy New Month. We are in March now. I don't know when you're watching this, but we've turned it into the first week of March, which is a wonderful welcome thing for me. I don't know if it is just psychological, but there's something about turning the calendar over to March that just feels so wonderful. The winter months are kind of in the rear view. March, everything changes so much. You start hearing more bird song. You enjoy the brighter evenings. We start to see things appear on the trees and hedges, and I absolutely love it, and we're in it. So there we are. Happy New Month, one and all. So let's do our fascinating fun fact for a Friday. Look at this, I'm getting all discombobulated and out of sync. Now I'm going to have to put my glasses on to read this. And this is something else I was thinking about in my long insomniac nights, is that I either need to get some prescription sunglasses made again, or I have to take sunglasses off outfit roulette, because I simply can't see anything, and I certainly can't read anything when I'm trying to go through the show when I'm wearing the sunglasses. So a fascinating fun fact for a Friday, something I didn't know last week that I do know now, and I've decided to share with you. The longest word in the English language, with all its letters in alphabetical order, is almost. Now that surprised me, because I thought it would be a longer word than that, but if you discount scientific terms, there's a plant species that I think has 8 or 9 letters in it, but the most commonly used word that has the longest continuation of letters in alphabetical order is almost. And that just didn't seem right to me. I thought the answer to that should be something a lot longer. So I've made up a word that's longer. So I've gone with the word abdefowy. A-B-D-E-F-O-W-Y, all in alphabetical order, 8 letters long, and I've invented a description for it. So abdefowy is a word that has been made up to prove a point. Now, have I been digging a garden, or maybe watching birds? Let's find out. It's time for my week in 10 words. So what have I been up to since I last spoke to you? In 10 words exactly: podcast practice, invented card game, lots of music, old friends. Met up with a couple of people that I hadn't seen for months and months, which has been absolutely wonderful. Lots of live music, been to some open mic nights, met some other musicians, had some wonderful chats about music. And the big one there, invented a card game. My son and I spent Sunday with a pack of cards inventing a brand new card game that we are rather proud of. And we're going to do a video about that soon, so I'm not going to tell you too much about that, but we have invented a card game that we're very proud of. Now let's move on to the purple card, which is of course now green. And in fact, I think it's been the green card longer than it's been the purple card in this series, so maybe I should change the name. But in the meantime, let's enjoy the theme song. I understand most organs, but what the hell's a spleen? Let's see what I've written on the card that's green. So the green card is where I just write stuff down, and then we talk about it when I'm recording the show. Point number 1 this week, weird smell in kitchen. Yeah, I've got to the bottom of that and I don't want to talk about it, so I'll leave that there. Point number 2, mention lights in glasses, question mark. No idea. That's probably relevant to last week's show, but I don't know what it means, so it obviously doesn't mean anything, so let's move on. Stick with dressing gown. Only if all three match do we re-roll. Yeah, a bit of self-correction from me that I've already talked about, so we can leave that one there. And I didn't put much else on the green card because I wanted to get to interactive Greg and Nori. I wanted to finish off our little story that we completed last week. I read you the last chapter, but I want to read you the whole thing. So get settled in, because it's story time with Uncle Greg. Right back at the start of the series, I just had this idea of maybe we could write a story between us where I would start it off and you could submit chapters. And thankfully people joined in with this. So I came up with the title, A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape. I then left it to you. And over the course of the last however many weeks it's been, we've built this story together, and I said I want to end it at the end of chapter 10, which was last week. So I'm going to give you the complete story now. So please settle in. I have to say thank you to the people who helped write this with me. John, Ice E, Tina, Weird Alvin, Bev, Jane, Angie and Rachel, who all submitted chapters that we've used. So here we go. This, if you're sitting comfortably and ready, is the complete story of A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape. Gordon Grape wasn't your average fruit. He was plump, purple and proud, with a glossy skin that shimmered like polished amethyst. He lived in the lush vineyard of Willow Vale, nestled between rolling hills and kissed daily by the golden sun. But today wasn't just any day. Today was perfect. Then came the moment. Unexpectedly, the wind came howling through the valley. Gordon tried in vain to cling to his vine, but the strength of the gusts ripped him from his home and carried him away to adventure. Tossed and tattered, thrown and blown, sent hither and yon, and scared for his life, Gordon felt his skin begin to peel as the torrent of weather continued, until finally, thankfully, happily, the wind settled down, and Gordon was deposited in a field in a land he had never seen before. Surrounded by palm trees, smelling the glorious aroma of heather, he felt instantly at home in his new surroundings. And he wasn't alone. For placed on the ground beside him were two other new arrivals with whom he could become friends. One of them was a peach, plump and juicy, who told Gordon she had blown in from Georgia. The other was a red delicious apple, as red as a sunburnt lobster. They were both lost and confused, and both of them were naked. The new group of friends were determined to work together to find a way back to their own homes, but then Gordon said, "Here's a crazy idea. Why don't we try to make a new life for ourselves here?" And that's what they all agreed to do. Taking inspiration from Lord of the Flies, they established a quick system of government, with Gordon being designated their leader, the Lord of the Fruit. They sought warmth, shelter and a well for drinking water, but were struggling to find sources of food. And being tasty fruit, this brought up the terrible possibility of cannibalism. The closely knit friendship started to fall apart. No one trusted anyone, and any time Gordon reached for the salt, the other two would panic, thinking they might be on the menu. Thankfully, because of humans not caring about their own planet, another monumental storm kicked up, and the three of them were once again thrown to different locations. Somewhere in the darkness of the cold winter, Gordon hovered between consciousness and oblivion. Dreams of his home mixed with memories of his adventures, until curiosity overcame fatigue and his eyes opened, reacquainting him with waking life. Blinking, Gordon looked around and realized, to his dismay and disappointment, that he was locked in a laboratory. The truth was that Gordon had never been on a vine in the open in the countryside. He was created in a genetics company that was trying to solve our impending food crisis by growing fruit in enclosed spaces that didn't need sunlight to survive. Gordon was being fed on a revolutionary fertilizer that combined elements of horse manure, DDT, caffeine and amphetamines. The whole thing had been a drug-induced dream. The end. And I only stumbled twice, and I said the word survive instead of thrive, but it really doesn't matter. And what I loved about that is the fact that as you wrote chapters, you kind of left them with a little bit of a cliffhanger so that the next person could pick up the story and decide to take it wherever they went. And it went in some strange directions, but we did it, and I think it's something to be proud of. There's a message there, there's a continual story, there are different characters, there's a bit of jeopardy, and there is a conclusion at the end of it. So thank you all so much, and maybe that's something we'll do again if and when we do future series of the Daylight Midnight Show. But thank you for now. That is A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape. Well done, Pogo Dave Penguin, for sitting in position for the rest of the show. Let's work out what I'm going to wear on next week's show by doing the rolling randomness of the coloured cube, and we start with purple. So next week I will be wearing my pink shark t-shirt. Over the top of that, I will be wearing whatever is in column blue, which will be my black jacket, and to accessorise all that, whatever is in column purple again, which will be headphones. What a strange combination that is going to be. Let's do the Crinal coin toss. Remembered it this week. Will my hair be up or down? That is tails, if I can get to show you without throwing my money away, which is something I do quite often. So next week my hair will once again be in a ponytail. Thank you very much indeed. I will see you next week. Have a great 7 days. I'm off for lunch now.